In this video, we're going to look at guidelines for financial modeling. Firstly, we need to look at the trends and ratios from the past. Then we're going to decide on the ratios we're going to use to build our financial model. We always need to have formatting that's easy to read. The user needs to be able to look at the model, read the information easily, and not have to struggle with the way we formatted it. So if we have to look at an example, we want to see our input sheet as one sheet separated from our calculation sheet, and that's going to be separate from our output sheet, which would typically be our profit and loss statement and graphs. So having a look at the way we've laid out the sheets, we've used conservative fonts such as Calibri, Arial, Times New Roman. If you use a font that's very sort of artistic or way out, something like this, it's very difficult for a user to read what you've done. So try and avoid fonts like this. You want to stick to fonts that are easy to read. We change this whole thing to Calibri, much easier to read straight away. We want to avoid very bright colors. So if we format something, very bright colors like this, once again, very difficult to read. You start using very bright font colors, use a purple on a red. Again, very hard to read something like this. So we want to stick to plain backgrounds, pastel colors, black fonts, and easy to read fonts like Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri. Very important is to keep our input sheets separate from the sheets where we do the calculations, separate from our output sheets. That makes it nice and easy for everyone to understand. They're inputting everything on this sheet, and then they'll see their outputs, their profit and loss statement on the other sheet. Let's just get rid of this formatting and make that black again, much easier to read. We want to set out the information in a logical format on the input sheet. So we start from top to bottom, generally put sales, income at the top, then we have costs down below. It's generally a good idea to highlight what the user must input. So I've highlighted all the input cells in blue and made them bold, and then the user can clearly see what needs to be input. Important, always use headings. So we give each sheet a name, give it a heading, make it bold, underline it, then the users clearly see this is the calculation sheet and this is the profit and loss sheet. Never assume your user knows what they're looking at. You need to give them clear headings so they can differentiate everything. So let's go back to our presentation. We need to decide on our key ratios or drivers. What are we saying here? Well, if we have two products in the business that are both growing at the same rate, then there's really no need to split your products in your financial model. However, if you've got products growing at different rates or products with different product margins, then you need to split them into different groups. So in the example we have dog food, which has got a different gross profit margin to cat food. And we might have different sales growth. So dog food might be 8% a year and cat food 9% a year. We also have different branches. So in this case, we need to split our information between category and branch. Formatting essentials, like I said, nice, easy, conservative fonts, plain colors that are easy on the eye. Structure essentials, we want our input sheets separate from calculations. We're going to mark our inputs clearly, such as highlighting them in blue. And then output essentials, we always check errors, check the basics. So does the total on one sheet equal the total on the other sheet? Very importantly, sense check the model against what the managers in the business expect. Are sales really going to double in a year? And then we need to clearly lay out our income statements and graphs. Highlight your subtotals, highlight your totals, make sure the user can clearly see each key piece of information.